Hello and welcome to this conversation that I'm going to have with the innovator-in-chief of the insurance sector, if I may call him, Yashish Dahiya, who's the founder and CEO at PolicyBazaar. We have been bringing you a series of conversations around insurance. Nivesh Kar Befikar, that's the real theme that we are trying to educate you on. So let's chat with Yashish and find out more about what insurance sector is really going through. You've done one more innovation. You've called it 4G.
Yes, 4G, the 4G insurance, 4G investment plans, the ULIPs. Basically, what we see is we have to be able to explain something to the consumer in a very easy manner. And everybody understands that, in telecoms, we've had 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. So people understand the difference. 4G is fast, it's better. So similarly in ULIPs, we've had 1G, which was bad products, 2G, somewhat better products, regulated products, 3G, better than regulation, very clean products, very low charges. 4G, much cheaper than mutual funds, even without talking about
much cheaper.
Yeah.
Because this is the other debate, right? Though they are two different products catering to two different needs, but I guess somewhere there is a commonality that they're both market linked.
90% of the customers are looking for returns.
For returns, yeah.
So if you're looking for returns,
for investing, really.
For investing, really. Yeah. And so basically, you've got two products that go and invest in pretty much the same market and in the same companies, the same funds, and then you have some charges in both products. So mutual funds have a charge of about 2.25%, and these 4G ULIPs have a charge of about 1.5%. So they are cheaper, and it's really that simple. There's nothing very complicated about it. People want to invest for a period of time. We call it 4G so people can really understand that when we're talking about 4G, today we talk about, bhai tere paas 3G hai ya 4G hai. We don't say, do you have 1G also? Because 1G is gone. Let's not talk about it.
But do you think somewhere, Yashish, that commentators or the commentary is more still stuck on 1G because there was a lot of mis-selling, there were heavy charges?
See, 1G is not available today.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to buy 1G, it is not available. So those bad ULIP products which has a lot of charges, a lot of problems, those products are not available today. They have not been available for the last 5 years. So why talk about a ghost?
They've been eliminated, you're saying.
So my point, they don't exist. If I wanted to buy it, if I was desperate to buy it, I can't buy it. It doesn't exist. So why talk about a ghost?
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, since you started with the investment piece, there is the traditional endowment plans, and we'll come to the comparison with mutual funds back again. But there was earlier the endowment piece, the money back policies, which a lot of Indians preferred to buy because they wanted to, or so they believed, that I'm getting big returns coming back, every 5 years to me. And then much later came the ULIPs, right? Where everything was linked to the market. Yeah. And while a lot of our comparison goes into ULIP versus mutual fund, I think the bigger comparison is ULIP versus endowment.
That is not even a comparison. An endowment is a black box product which does not explain what charges go in, it's usually a low return product, much lower than your fixed deposits. See, I don't want to talk negatively about anything.
No, we're not talking negative, we're just comparing objectively.
But the point is, they are, so I have bought, me, you, we are somewhere financially literate people, we know what to do with our own money. So I have bought 3 ULIP products this year. I have not bought an endowment product in the last 20 years.
Yeah, same here.
But my father has bought a lot of endowment products. Because he's not very financially literate. Somebody comes to him, says, "Sahab, bahut acha product hai." He's a retired army officer, and he was designed to fight soldiers. He wasn't or train soldiers and kind of fight with the enemy. He wasn't designed to be financially extremely savvy.
Sure.
And so he also believes everybody's telling him the truth.
Yeah.
So see, we all believe that everybody's telling us the truth, but there's a lot of miscommunication in the traditional products. Nobody's telling you what is the return on them. If you look for what is the return on them, and it's always mentioned, it is somewhere around 4 to 5%. If somebody comes and tells you that you get 4 to 5% return, why would you invest in that plan? So I think somewhere there's a communication problem, why so much traditional still sells. But yes, those are, see, I sell insurance. I should be talking very positively about all insurance. Traditional products, I'm myself saying, consumers don't need to buy. They're not very good products. Keep your money in fixed deposits instead if you thought so. or debt funds. There are a lot of debt funds which are basically linked to debt, which are giving you returns somewhat like a fixed deposit, like in a guaranteed manner. You know how much money you
better
want to
than
get.
a savings account for sure, where a lot of our money keeps lying.
Yeah, so there are many ways to get better than savings accounts, but there are a few ways to get worse than savings accounts. And traditional plans are a way to get worse than savings accounts.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is you would rather keep your money just in your bank.
So let's come back to 4G, because one of the things that a ULIP is often criticized for is that it combines investment with insurance.
Yes.
Right? Now, on the one hand, we say India is an underinsured country by far, and people should get insurance. But on the other hand, the minute we talk about combining investment with insurance, we say, oh my God, you shouldn't be doing this. Right?
No, ideally you should never combine investment and insurance. I totally agree. Because usually this complication is created by financial service providers to make the product more expensive for you. However, sometimes there are exceptions, and we have to see those exceptions for what they are. The ULIP today, including the cost of mortality, is cheaper than mutual funds. The 7-8 ULIPs I'm talking about, Edelweiss Tokyo, Bajaj Allianz, HDFC, SBI, it's not one company, I'm not promoting one company, but there are lots of companies that now have these products. Max Life has another one. So, and these products are way cheaper than mutual funds, so why are consumers not putting their money in these products, right? And the cost of the insurance is there, but that included, they're still cheaper than mutual funds.
Okay.
And the simple reason is the mutual fund charges you 2.25%, whereas these products have a fund management charge of 1.35%. All of them. That's 1% lower. Now let's just understand what is this 1%. After 10 years, if you're putting 1 lakh rupees a year, you've probably accumulated about 20-25 lakh rupees. This 1% is 20-25,000 rupees every year. It's a lot of money. So people have to focus on that 1%. That starts to become 25% very soon, right? And you'll be saving that if you're going through the ULIP route.
And you're saying the mortality charges in some of the new products that are being launched are borne by the insurance company?
No, in some, the insurance company are returning those.
Okay.
But that is to convince the consumer that, look, you don't need to worry about the mortality charge. See, I can do the math for anybody. All the mortality charges put together are less than 5% of the charge of any of these products, right? Of a ULIP. As long as you're taking the minimum coverage, which is 10x, which is 10 times your premium, right? The biggest charge, which is between 80 to 95% of the charge of any of these products, is the fund management charge. You do the math, I'm happy to kind of sit down with anybody, draw up the Excel, and you can have a look. 80 to 95% of all costs are the fund management charge. On the fund management charge, the ULIP is about half, maybe a little more than half the cost of the mutual fund.
Okay. One of the criticisms I was reading the other day was that you're only allowed up to 10 times. Why not more?
You can take more, but why take more? You can always buy a term insurance separately.
Okay.
My point is, the 10 times requirement is a minimum requirement by the government, which qualifies the ULIP to not have to pay taxes. So when you invest in a ULIP, you get a tax break. So if you invest 1 lakh rupees, you're actually investing only 70,000. The second thing is, later on when you get your returns, they are always tax-free forever, all your returns, right? So that is only provided because you take that 10 times life cover. So it's a little price you pay to get that tax benefit. And it's definitely worth it. Because for that little cost, you get 30% tax break on your total returns, which is very good, or even 10% compared to mutual funds, which have the long-term capital gains. But I think the most important piece there is, what if you wanted to take 100 times? What if you want to take 1,000 times? You buy a term insurance product separately, na?
But if the mortality charge is the same, can't I go more than 10?
You can, but it is better to keep it separate. I also agree that you should keep your term insurance and your investment separate decisions. One, you are making because you want a particular return. One, you are making because you want a life cover, right? I think you should take a term insurance and a ULIP.
And whatever cover you get on the ULIP is a bonus.
It's just the 10x that you are getting, which is the minimum required to get your tax benefits, right? So you get your tax benefit through the 10x cover, and the rest you take through a separate term insurance. Because the second part is, there may be one ULIP providing you very high returns, and there may be another company giving you the right kind of term insurance cover.
Sure.
So why would you want to get stuck with just one?
That's an interesting point you're making, because typically the argument from the insurance sector has been that here you get both combined. But what you're saying
that is the wrong argument. We have to just focus on the fact today that mutual funds, there is so many people who've invested in mutual funds without realizing there is something called a low cost 4G ULIP, which is lower cost, more efficient to do the same thing. It has tax benefits, it has higher flexibility, it has lots of advantages, and it has lower cost at the end of it. And the life insurance part, you actually almost don't need to think about it. It's there. It's like a bonus.
How have the returns, Yashish, been? Because now that you're saying that look at it as an investment product.
Yeah.
How have the returns, now that we have a history of 10, 15 years, 20 years of the ULIPs?
Yes.
How have the returns been?
Mutual funds has got different returns. Every ULIP has got different returns.
Yeah.
But there are lots of ULIPs, Bajaj Allianz, Edelweiss, which are in the, the Morningstar 5-star rated funds, which have got fund management which is as good as any mutual fund. So you get pretty much the same returns. As long as you choose the funds which have been doing better. And just like you choose your fund in buying a mutual fund, you have to choose your fund when buying a ULIP. So you go with the people who've been managing funds better. As I just mentioned 2 companies who are by Morningstar rated as 5-star, who have funds which are 5-star rated. Now, I'm not a fund rater, I'm not a specialist in fund rating, but I believe Morningstar 5-star rating is a good star rating for performance.
And tell me about the flexibility, because that's again
I think it's a very important
word
part.
which keeps coming back again, that
I think it's a very, very important
unlike
part.
mutual funds where you can walk in and walk out, here there's a 5-year lock-in. Though my view in this is that when you tell people to invest, especially in equities, all of us tell them that look, even a 3-year or a 5-year is not enough. You've got to do much longer if you really want to build wealth.
Let me talk about 2 kinds of customers.
Flexibility keeps coming up.
Let me talk about 2 kinds of customers. One is, let's say, a rational customer who says, I want to invest for the next 10 years, 20 years. I will not worry about these ups and downs because they happen. And if I stay in the long run, I'll make great returns. That's what
These are very few.
These are very few.
In India.
These are very few in India. But if I was investing, I would invest like that. Let's say.
Sure, yeah.
For them, it doesn't matter because they should stay for longer than 5 years. If you don't have a 5-year plan, there's no point investing in equities because they can always go down.
Sure.
Let's talk about the second type. Very nervous. When do they want to sell? They want to sell when the markets move downwards. That's the reality. Whether they should or should not is a different issue. But let's say my father.
So, but they do
my father, straight after the budget, he was like very nervous for that 1 week. He was like, first guy, why can't I get out? Why can't I sell?
But dad has been right in some way. We lost 4,000 points on the sense.
But the point is, if he wanted to, why he did not want to get out? Because he had short-term capital gains if he got out. He would have to pay 30% short-term capital gains because he started investing about 6 months ago.
Okay.
Now, had he invested in a ULIP, he could have switched to a debt fund without any tax and seamlessly in 1 day. Where is the flexibility?
There are no exit charges.
There's no exit charge. You can switch as often as you want in a year. Exactly.
Because earlier there used to be limits.
Maybe 4 times a year, 5 times a year, 4 times a year, 5 times a year. How many times do you want to switch? But my point is, where is the flexibility? Is the flexibility in the mutual fund? Third is emergency funds. That one, I agree, mutual funds have that, right? So I think that 2 kinds of flexibility. One is if markets turn sour and you want to get out because you're a nervous holder, you want to get out. Then ULIPs, be it mutual funds, hands down.
Allow you to move to debt.
Because you can move to debt like that with zero cost, zero tax, nothing, right? Whereas in mutual fund, you'll either pay short-term capital gains, 30%, 33%, or an exit charge. And if you are, if you've been there for long enough, if you're lucky enough for that, then you pay a long-term capital gains. But you will pay a capital gains, which does not exist in the ULIP.
If you switch.
So flexibility much higher in the ULIP. Now the only exception being the second type, which is, I might just have an emergency need. Health issue, family marriage, family event. In that, I totally agree. Mutual fund is more flexible because you can withdraw your money. And for 5 years, your money is locked in a ULIP. You, of course, can. I am not stretching the argument.
But then it's always said, right, that
you can take a loan.
Have to segregate your investment and your emergency fund. It shouldn't be the same.
I think your emergency funds should be lying in your fixed. I need emergency funds. My children study in a very expensive school.
Keep it in a liquid fund or keep it in a savings account?
I keep it in the
or
savings
whatever.
account. Every August I get cleaned out. And till August I'm saving up in my savings account. Every month I'm putting the money there, and in August I get cleaned out. I will not go and put that money in equities, because, God forbid, equities can drop by 50% sometime. Like as you said, we've already had a 4,000 point drop.
Yeah.
My point is, if you are looking for emergency funds, please don't invest in equities anyway.
Sure.
If you are the kind of nervous buyer or long-term buyer, then ULIPs give you more flexibility, not less flexibility. The people who are giving the argument that flexibility is higher in mutual fund have not considered this switching
This aspect. I think the concern is that if I'm not happy with my fund manager,
move out.
I can't move out for 5 years, right?
No. So there are 5 different funds.
Okay.
Every
So
ULIP
you
has
can
got
move
5
out of
different
the
funds.
equity and go into the debt piece.
You can
At
go
least your money is protected.
mid cap to large cap to small cap to balanced funds to debt funds to whatever you want, and you can move into fixed income or you can move into variable income. So I think there's a lot of options there which give you the flexibility that any consumer really needs. Except for emergency. Emergency, as I said, you should not be investing in equities anyway, either mutual funds or ULIPs.
And let's talk a little about the transparency aspect.
Yes.
Since you said the 4G, and I'm presuming what you're saying is the 4G ULIPs are only sold online, right? These are not offline products.
These are largely sold online, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You could buy them offline, but they are available. Everything is available online.
But are the same charges applicable offline as well?
Sometimes they are more, but in the online products, those charges are much lower.
Okay.
So I'm talking about, when I talk about ULIPs, I'm talking about these 5, 6, 7 products in the industry. When I talk about the 4G, I'm not talking about
which hopefully others will follow suit.
Which hopefully others will also create the similar products, so that the consumer benefits.
And the 4G ULIP is an online product.
It's an online product.
For the young Indian who's comfortable transacting online.
Anybody who's smart, who can
transact online.
Who can rationalize and understand the reality. I think it's
you've anyway simplified a lot of insurance buying, maybe in term, etc.
You can check your
platform,
NAV. You can check the NAV of the ULIP whenever you want.
Okay.
Just like the NAV of a mutual fund. So there is no problem. You can check it every day. You can check it, like my father likes to check his NAV every day. I don't know why. That's the sign of a nervous holder, but he does. So I think that you can do in a ULIP also, if you wish to. So the transparency exists now. There is no
so there is, where your money is going, the portfolio, because there were some concerns that it only covers a certain number of stocks
There's a big
in the
advantage.
portfolio.
See, think about it. I don't want to.
No, I personally feel the lesser you know, the better, because I think we get just so worked up about.
We all say one should invest long term. Who will invest long term? Somebody who has capital available to them which can't be moved for at least 5 years, or somebody whose capital can move every day. So typically ULIPs have shown the ability to invest in longer term equities. But eventually the fund managers are moving between one and the other. It's the same fund managers that move, who were managing mutual funds, who one day are managing a ULIP, who's again going back and managing a mutual fund. And you can see who's a higher quality fund manager by looking at the performance of the last 5 years. So just like you invest in mutual funds, you compare ULIP performance also. Nobody's saying don't compare the performance. Look at the past performance, look at the costs. Where the costs are low, performance is high, go for that. And the flexibility exists. You can move out of it anytime. You can move out of it and move into a debt fund, which will give you your 8% kind of returns anytime.
Are people buying more term cover now?
Term cover is definitely
increasing.
Definitely increasing. It's
that's the other big concern, isn't it?
It's about 120% higher. So it's about 2.2 times what it was last year. So it's really growing. I think there's a series of adverts that we are bringing out, which is more around. You buy a car insurance. See, I have a 9 lakh rupee car. I paid the insurance premium just 2 days ago, 24,000 rupees. In 24,000 rupees, I can get a 2 crore cover for myself. Right? Now, what is more important? Insuring my car or having a 2.4 crore, a 2 crore rupee
Which you do the
premium?
car because it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. It's mandatory. But I can always take a third party insurance there.
Correct.
We still take out comprehensive. I can take a third party insurance about 5,000-6,000 rupees for my car. Why do I spend the remaining 19,000 rupees? Either it is I'm not thinking. See, we always believe we should be aware of all our decisions. Why are we making them? Either we are not thinking and making 19,000. Inertia is always there. So 19,000 decision, because every year there's a time we carry on with it. Term insurance we don't buy. So our ad is actually going to be where a police person stops you It does not ask you for your car insurance papers, ask you for your life insurance papers. And he says, वो तो मुझे पता है तुम्हारे पास है, क्योंकि मैं check करने वाला हूँ. मेरे को पता life insurance paper है कि नहीं.
Maybe we value our cars more than we value our own life, and that's the sad story.
I don't think anybody does. I think, quite honestly, you can take my 9 lakh rupee car right now. I will feel a bit sad about it, but I will actually forget about it in 2 months' time.
Sure.
But if you actually take out a knife and kind of kill me, I'll have a big problem.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I know, and I think that's the reason I asked you, that I hope at least the younger people, since
life insurance is growing, but it's this small compared to car. See the same story.
Yeah.
Mutual fund versus 4G ULIP. Rationality. We're trying to talk sense. It needs to have a space, but people need to pick it up. It's growing. It's growing very fast. The same thing here. Life insurance so small, car insurance that big. Everybody has a car insurance. I have a 9 lakh rupee car. Average car in India is 3 lakhs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But even that has a 10,000 rupee insurance. But 10,000 rupee mein 1 crore cover. Very few people have. People actually, do you really believe people value their life less than their car?
In fact, the other point I want to talk to you on, because again, a lot of innovation seems to be happening there as well, Yashish, is on the health side.
Yes.
You've brought together certain entities to even, combine a life insurance policy with a health insurance policy.
In 2 months' time.
And general insurance.
Months.
Yeah.
In
What's
2 months'
happening
time.
on that front?
In 2 months, we will bring out a product which will give you a 1 crore health insurance cover.
Okay.
At the price of where a 7 to 10 lakh rupee product is today.
Okay. Can you explain that a bit?
So you'll basically have a 1 crore rupee health insurance cover. Okay. See, we've now been selling health insurance for the last 9-10 years. Yeah. We've got a very profitable book,
right,
which is making sense for consumers. We're now bringing out a product which is going to give you a 1 crore cover at the price pretty much where today 7 lakh rupee cover is available.
Oh.
Now, after that, people don't have an excuse
not to cover themselves.
But
on that front, I think people are getting more conscious.
1 crore can cover almost anything.
Yeah.
And it'll come from a very reputed company. Now, and of course, other companies will follow very soon. And we want more and more companies to provide that kind of a cover.
But on health insurance, do you see a change in attitude?
Absolutely.
I find at least the younger people are far more aware, they are more concerned.
I would say 1 out of every 4 people who needs a health insurance policy has it today.
Has
it today.
Okay.
It is still...
It's about 25%.
Yeah.
You still need to get...
But you need to probably get to a point where 70-80% of the people... So if you look at the UK, US, almost everybody has health cover. Yeah. It's a necessity. It's like education. Yeah. We all do our class 12. Yeah. Like, how can you not have health insurance? So something can happen anytime. I always give these examples which, people should consider when they think they are very invincible. You look at Lisa Ray, you look at Steve Jobs. Were they not fit? Are they not fit? Were they, could you have suspected that something could go wrong? Things happen. Right? And things can happen to me, they can happen to anybody. And we have to, eventually we're not invincible. And if those things happen, it's very expensive in hospitals. One is not trying to frighten people, but it's sensible, right? If you're talking sense, people saying you're frightening us. You have to talk sense. Somebody's talking sense. Yeah. So...
Great. It's been wonderful walking with the Iron Man.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And look forward to many more conversations with you.
Thank you very much.